Welcome to the President's Desk simulcast on 96.9 FM, KGPC, and Peralta Television, where Laney College President Dr. Randi Cross speaks with community members, colleagues, and student leaders. This program is supported by Technical Director Felicia Bridges, who co-hosts along with Laney College President Dr. Randi Cross.
Pull up a chair and join me and Felicia at the President's Desk today for episode number 55, as we welcome Laney College student leaders Kamila Yurivilka and co-host Randi Cross, who will be moving over to the guest chair today. The show airs at 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. on FM 96.9 KGPC and live at kgpc969.org each Wednesday, and can now be seen Sundays from 1 to 2 p.m. on Peralta TV. Can't catch us then? No problem. All our episodes are available anytime on demand at kgpc969.org, along with other great Peralta programming, and as always, we can be heard on Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio. Want to interact with the show? You can email us at laneypodcast@peralta.edu, like us on Facebook at Laney College President's Desk Podcast, and follow us on Instagram and X as Laney Podcast. Felicia, I said X this time.
X.
There we go.
Changed it name.
Yeah, that's right. You can also find select interviews and content from the show on our very own YouTube channel by subscribing to the Laney College President's Desk. I'm Randi Cross, proud president of Laney College, a pillar that has been serving the greater Oakland community since 1927 and has been known as Laney for more than 65 years, and where college has been free since fall semester 2022. Woohoo! Like so many things with the President's Desk and the President's Office, my work is the result of a great team. At the controls today on the board is Whitney Frazier. Shout out to Whitney.
Whitney!
That's right. And in addition to Felicia and Randi, Arlene Lontock does a great job booking guests for the show, with Raya Zion joining us as show contributor, which she will be doing at the half-hour point today. And then we also have occasional in-studio guests that include Raya. But getting things kicked off as always today, and I noticed she's sporting her fall colors, is Felicia Bridges.
Absolutely.
Felicia, how are you?
I'm doing well, Randi. I'm doing well, Rudy. How are you?
I'm doing fine. So Felicia, I got to ask you, just to kind of, summer's ending, fall's beginning, what's some stuff that you do? What are kind of those things that kind of start the clicker for fall, if you will?
Fall. Gosh, Rudy, I love pulling out all my fall wardrobe, like you noticed.
Okay.
I'm like, ooh, and testing and trying on my winter coats. So that's kind of like my ritual. What about you?
I was about to say it's like 80 degrees today. What do you mean?
I know, I know, but I'm really a fall person. I love wind.
That's right.
And a little chill. Not winter, but that when things are cool and there's a little wind. I love that. I'm not really a summer person, but of course I love the beach and that, but no.
This was kind of a question I thought of as a matter of culture, because from my days living in Japan, what I remember was when the calendar hit the first day of fall, and it didn't matter what the temperature was outside. If I was teaching an English class and I started with my usual "what did you do this weekend" question, the predominant answer would always be, I put away my summer clothes, I brought out my fall clothes, and keeping in mind that I lived in a city that faced Siberia, people would go and get their tires changed to winter tires.
Oh, winter tires.
Those are some.
So what's the difference? Is the tread bigger and deeper?
Yeah, the tread is a little different. It runs deeper. Also, the tires might have built-in studs on them, which essentially stops you while you're driving and going on the ice and such. So And you have not lived until you've had to stop a car on ice when you're skidding.
Right.
It's a wonderful
What about you,
experience.
Randy?
So, want to
Really
welcome in
Randy
our
this
guest.
time.
Want to welcome
guest.
in our guest to the show, Randi Cross, who, of course, is a
right.
big part of the president's desk, but we move over to the guest chair today. Randy, how about you? I notice, the calendar still says summer for you, just based on the temperature outside, but when fall comes around or when seasons change, what are some things you do?
I do also change out my clothes, but it's like in the Bay Area, do we really have a fall?
Good point.
Or a winter even?
Right, yeah.
But I try and change up the colors a little bit.
The temperature shifts just
Yeah,
a little
tiny bit.
I find with me it's food. My big change is I usually flip from iced coffee to hot coffee. That's usually what I do. And
Do you like pumpkin spice?
I was wondering somebody was going to say it. I wasn't going to do it.
It's not bad.
Pumpkin.
And you know what? I think, Felicia, this is the 10th time now we've discussed coffee on the president's desk. Always a pertinent topic. I'm not so much into pumpkin, but I do like the sweeteners. And then if colder coffees, I'll throw in mint. How about you?
I love pumpkin spice. That's one thing I do like about fall.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, pumpkin pie and stuffing and all those things, those are around the corner as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, Randi, we're happy to welcome you in just because at this time in the semester,
welcome.
student life is something that's picking up. And you are in a number of student leadership roles. And I just thought this would be a great topic for us to cover today. For our listeners, though, and our viewers, could you tell us first, just remind everybody, what is your role with the student government?
So student government, I am the publicity commissioner. So basically, I control ASLC's Instagram account. I try and be at every campus event to make sure that I'm getting pictures, talking to students, and asking questions. And then as far as within us as a group, I organize all of our bonding activities. Like last Thursday, as ASLC group, we went to the bistro.
You did?
Yeah, and we had a good time. So I think our next event, we're going to do a picnic or something maybe on the weekend.
Okay. What's your major and what are you looking to do down the road? I know we've talked about this a little bit, but it's always a good check-in question.
Yes, I am a journalism major. I do plan on moving into journalism. I want to focus on community journalism.
Oh, okay. Excellent. So perhaps an obvious question, what is community journalism versus just, say, journalism?
Community journalism, I was focused basically on whatever's going on in Oakland. I do have I'm part of a cohort for Oakland Voices.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been doing that for the last, I think it's been almost a year now. We'll be done in December. But I've been working with them, doing some journalism training along with writing for The Citizen.
If people want to see the work of Oakland Voices, where can they access it?
They can just go to oaklandvoices.com.
Wow. Okay. What's it like producing for more than one publication?
It's interesting. So I've published quite a few stories on The Citizen already. However, Oakland Voices, I have not. My first story has not been published yet. I'm still in the editing phase, but I've got 3 or 4 coming up. And as soon as we're done editing and I get my pictures in, then they'll be up there.
Most interesting story or interview to date is what?
To date, I think would be, let's see. So I did my first assignment for Oakland Voices. I did kind of like a talk of the town type thing in Oakland, and I went around asking people what their favorite taco truck was in Oakland.
Oh.
That was pretty fun.
Is there one that you remember that you now frequent as a result of that all-important journalistic research?
A beard, yeah. Which one is it?
I got this answer from a couple of people, but it's also one of my favorites, the one on First Street. It's the green truck. I don't know the name.
Felicia, we have to mark the tape. The First Street green truck.
Right there by Lake Merritt.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. And I sense, and I am seeing on X right now that there is a mad rush.
They make the best burritos.
Yeah, you know
there is a mad
about,
rush to First Street right now, Felicia. This just into the news desk. So anyway, what made you want to get involved with student government?
I just wanted to be a part of being a voice on campus for students, make sure, everybody's interacting, especially now that it's pretty active on campus right now. Like this semester, this is the most people I've seen, and I've been here, this will be my 3rd semester, so.
One thing I've found as I walk around campus, often the things that student leaders in the ASLC tell me I often hear echoed in our students, which tells me that that their voices are getting heard, at least to a significant degree. How do students typically get in touch with you as a student leader?
So
how
for
do they
me,
do it?
yeah, I do have my email address for ASLC is Laney. Hold on, let me just make sure I get this right. I have so many email addresses. So is Laney ASLC Publicity at Peralta.edu.
Excellent. Great. What are some current issues that you are finding students do come to you about, perhaps more than other times?
I find that students come to us a lot about resources on campus. As far as like maybe some tutoring, counseling, where can they go for certain things like health. So we're good at navigating that. We make sure we're aware of whatever's going on campus, and we can get them a connection to someone in that department.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Which resource do you find is the most frequently requested?
I think the most frequent is probably basic needs. Mm-hmm. People like to know where they can get resources for I know the pantry ties into basic needs and lunch ties into basic needs. So
right, yeah. And has just the efforts that we've had with food distribution, with Fall is Free, how's that impacted your view of college as a student?
So I think it's definitely very cool that that Fall is Free and we have the food pantry, because there are at least 2 or 3 members on ASLC that said they are coming. They started because Fall was free that very first time in 2022.
Excellent. And as you've seen this now, because we are into our 3rd semester of it, have you seen it evolve? Because nothing ever stays the same. How does Fall is Free this semester maybe look different than a year ago?
I think people are much more aware of what resources they have on campus. I know my first semester, a lot of people didn't know about the free lunches every day in the cafeteria, and they didn't know about the pantry items that they could get once a week, and the the fresh vegetable boxes that they could get. I feel like everyone is definitely aware of that, and they do spread the word.
Finish the sentence for me. To be an effective student leader,
you must have good communication skills.
Okay. For example, how? What do you do? What does that mean?
What?
And we also,
what does that mean?
And we also
you
have
talk a lot. You know how to talk a lot.
And Randy, not that there's any pressure, but we do have a communications PhD in the room in Felicia, so no pressure at all.
I mean, you just have to be like a people person, because sometimes when you're out there trying to talk with students as part of ASLC, they may not want to engage, so you have to be able to know how to draw them in.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So how do you draw people in? It's just, so how to engage? Just talk to, I don't know. What do you mean?
Yeah, usually we'll have, if we're in the quad, sometimes we'll have snacks, or we'll have stickers or something sitting out. So usually people walk over, they're interested in what's going on, and then we'll do our little pitch we're ASLC, and if you're interested in joining, or we have these events going on, if you're interested in joining a club, and we hand them flyers for whatever we have.
Felicia, it was pretty interesting. I remember when I did my research projects for my master's degree and my doctorate, the one thing that was shared was that no matter what the circumstances are, bring food. That was always
yes.
That was always the one thing, no matter what you're doing. And my go-to was always the Costco cake. That was kind of the thing I would bring whenever there was a gathering.
Cake with the vanilla cream filling, or what?
Oh, subject to input.
Oh, I gotcha.
I like the whipped cream icing.
Yeah. I'm not a buttercream fan.
Yeah, same.
But whipped cream is my favorite.
Excellent. So, Randy, once you are done with us at Laney and move on, where are you looking to continue your studies?
I actually know we have some transfer events coming up, so I'm definitely going to be at those, but I would love to go to San Francisco State. I heard they have a great journalism program.
Excellent. Great. And, just so pleased to welcome Randi Cross as a guest today right here on 96.9 KGPC and kgpc969.org right here at the President's Desk.
Randi, I have a question.
Yes.
When you became president, because what role did you serve before?
Oh, I'm not president. I'm publicity commissioner.
Oh, you're
yeah.
publicity commissioner.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Randy's smart. She knows how to avoid the heat.
Right,
Yeah.
the heat.
I don't want to be in the hot seat.
Okay, so, okay, I can still ask this question. So, what big events or what big events are planned for the academic year?
So today on campus, like going on right now, there is Club Rush, which is where
Rush.
all of our clubs are out there with the table. They probably have merch. They probably have snacks. Our favorite thing. ASLC is also out there representing and just getting everybody to sign up. Everybody has their clipboards out, and we want everybody to get in as many clubs as they can.
What's the time commitment been like for you? And I certainly remember being someone who, like you, works and goes to school. I essentially remember with a lot of my studies, pulling my car up to campus, going straight to the classroom, getting my homework or getting my class in, getting my homework in, and then perhaps heading straight back to the car and making a beeline for home. But you certainly have not done that. What is the time commitment to be part of student government?
Well, we are committed at least 1 hour a week to our weekly meeting, which is on Mondays from 3 to 4. And then we also have, whenever we have something going on in the quad, we usually try to do it on Wednesdays and Thursdays because that's when it's the most people on campus. Usually that'll be about a 2-hour event. So I think in total to ASLC, I probably dedicate about 4 or 5 hours a week.
Okay. Take us inside an ASLC meeting when the student government comes together and meets. What do those meetings look like? What's discussed? What's the feel?
Yeah, so we run our meetings through Robert's Rules. So our president, Camilla, is the one that runs all of that. So we're pretty strict with our time. We stick to our hour, and then, of course, we motion to extend it if we need to. So we come in, start at 3. We already have our agenda planned, go through old business, then move on to new business, and then the floor is open. We also have some time for public comments. So anybody can join an ASLC meeting. On our website, we do also have the Zoom link if you can't make it in person.
Do you like meetings under Robert's Rules of Order, or do you find them to kind of be a constraint?
When I first started, I had no clue what Robert's Rules was, so I was a little confused. But I can see why we use it because it helps control the room. Like, people don't talk out of turn, people don't talk too long or cut other people off. So I actually do like it. I'm not 100% comfortable with it, but I'm trying to learn.
Controls the cacophony, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Let's say I'm not in the student government, but I'm interested in attending meetings. Is that something I can do?
Yep. All meetings are public. I believe Atia puts our agenda on the website within 24 hours of the meeting.
Atia Rashada, our Director of Campus Activities and Student Life. That's right.
Yes.
And then what else happens?
And then the room is open. It's in the Student Center on the 4th floor. As soon as you get off the elevator, conference room is on the right. And you can just come in and have a seat and watch the whole meeting go down, or you can log into Zoom.
I noticed that the membership of the student government, especially as of today, is now pretty much full. How many people sit on ASLC, and what are the various roles?
So we are almost full. I think we only have like 2 or 3 vacancies. I believe we're still looking for an internal secretary and 2 senators. But we'd have our president, vice president. We have our treasurer who runs the budget. There's me. We have our club officer. That's Opal. She is in charge of organizing when the clubs need to, when the clubs need to bring anything to us as far as they want to have an event, we have to approve it first. So she's the one that navigates all of that. We have quite a few senators. We have, we have so many people. I'm trying to think.
That is a big group.
Yeah.
So again, just about how many hours a week are you putting in to be part of the student government?
About 4 or 5 hours a week.
Wow. How about beyond the journalism classes? What about to be a writer for the Citizen? And also in your role as a managing editor, correct?
Yeah, I am the managing editor of the Citizen. So we definitely do a lot of stuff. We have a chat that we communicate through when we're not in class. So a lot of our stories, we do have to spend majority of our time outside of class to cover, like if there's an event or a play or anything going on campus, any of the campuses, because we cover all Peralta colleges. So depending on what I got going on, I probably dedicate maybe in outside of class time, probably like another 4 or 5 hours to that.
Wow. Do you ever sleep?
No.
Yeah, you have a lot on your date card, so to speak. Tell me, how do you juggle it all? How do you keep it all juggled?
I use a Google Calendar. Like, I just stick to it. I put every single thing on my calendar, and I use a handwritten calendar so that I can just see it at a glance every day. I keep it out on my desk at home. And then, of course, on my Google Calendar, I have alerts letting me know when the next thing is popping up.
Like you, approximately 7 in 10 of our students work and go to school at the same time. Besides the Google Calendar, any other advice you'd share?
I would just say have a routine, like a daily routine. Like when I wake up, once I'm ready to go for the day, and I usually work in the first half of my day, and then I go into checking Canvas, check for any assignments, checking my calendar, see what I have to do that day. So just stick to a routine, especially during the weekday.
Have you ever had a semester where maybe you flooded one day of the week with classes and then took your foot off the gas for other days of the week, say all your classes Monday, Wednesday, none Tuesday, Thursday? Have you ever gone down that road at all?
So Fridays, I tell everybody, like, don't bother me on Friday because I'm probably not going to, like, I say that is my day off when technically I'm still working. However, as far as like ASLC, Citizen, I kind of just try and...
You unplug on those days. Yeah. Okay.
I'm curious about your role as the managing editor of the Citizen. How do you decide and prioritize what stories that you want covered and so forth? How are you managing that?
Yeah, so our editor-in-chief, Lee Kahn, so we work together on assigning stories and finding stories. Since I'm on social media already for ASLC, I always see what's popping up on Instagram, so I'll send it to her and be like, oh, this will look like a good story. Like just right before I came in here, I saw that we're having the ribbon cutting for the tiny house.
That's right.
Right.
Coming October 11th.
Yeah, so I sent her that, and I was like, we may want to send somebody out for this. This will be a good story.
Excellent. Wow.
And then I'm learning under Lee and Eleni, I am learning how to edit. So I kind of, they do kind of like the first round of edits, and I kind of come in and do like the second round where I'm double checking for facts, double checking for spelling of names, double checking for make sure, any hyperlinks in the story work, things like that.
Does everybody always get a byline if they write a story?
Yes.
Okay, because when I wrote for my high school newspaper, that didn't always happen, and I will neither confirm nor deny that I used to hound the editor to make sure every story I had, I got a byline.
Got your byline.
We give everybody a byline, and right now I am doing all of the graphics for any published stories, so that's been fun.
Wow.
Okay.
Excellent. So it sounds like there's kind of a multimedia aspect to what you're doing as well.
Yeah, well, so our stories will put like photos in, but as far as graphics, I mean just like, I put the Citizen story title byline. And then I'll put like something that I find to tie into what's going on in the story.
Okay.
What is something that you would say that you literally have learned from zero since starting to take classes with Professor Gastus and write for the Citizen?
Something I learned from zero.
In other words,
is,
that you absolutely didn't know about before. Yeah.
as far as news writing, how the structure of news writing is so different from like just say you're journaling and you're coming from your perspective. You have to be very, very non-biased in, your whole story.
Style-wise, is that writing different too? And if so, how?
Yes. One thing I learned is you don't want to use too many words that you don't need. You want to get straight to it, get the facts, get the story out there, and that's it.
Well, that kills it for me. I'm not a journalist. I always have word count issues, Felicia.
Yeah, you got to keep it tight with the news story.
Have to keep it tight.
Not just writing, but on the air hosting a podcast. I've heard I have that challenge at times.
What's your average length of a story? What's the citizen's average length?
I think majority of our stories, if it's just, we're getting to the facts, between 600, 800 words.
600, 800 words. Okay.
We don't have a word restriction, though, but.
I went to when I was on my high school newspaper, I had a classmate. His name was Paul, and he actually went beyond that and did a story where he went and lived under the bridges, or stayed under the bridges in Denver where the homeless are, and essentially spent a night there and interviewed them all. He actually won a state award for it. If you could go and do a word count doesn't matter, in-depth type story, and you could pick, what would you do?
Oh, wow. What would I do?
Hard-hitting questions on the president's desk, yeah.
You say he went and stayed under the bridge?
Wow. He spent a night under the bridges it's called Spear Boulevard in Denver, and just basically interviewed a bunch of homeless people that were there, and it was an incredible story and some of the best writing I've ever seen, even for someone in high school.
With the housing crisis, that sounds like something interesting to me, especially I know it hits Oakland really hard. Like a lot of the people that are unhoused, they have jobs and they go to school, but they just can't afford to, stay somewhere. So I'd maybe spend a day with someone that's maybe a student, an unhoused student that's going to school, working, but they're living out of their car.
Randi, I certainly want to check in with you just about the club rush that's going on this week at Laney, and then also just talk about student life and extracurricular activities. Can you stick around for the rest of the show?
Sure.
Excellent. So, you know what, Felicia, as we transition at this point in the show, I will go ahead and remind our listeners that Laney College provides one-time support scholarships for students facing unforeseen financial difficulties that impact their ability to attend school. If you are a student experiencing difficulty, please contact Arlene Lontock in my office at 510-464-3219 or email her at alontoc@peralta.edu. Also, to our employees and community members, this is just a reminder that all charitable gifts to Laney College or any of the Peralta colleges are tax deductible, and they are processed through the PCF, the Peralta Colleges Foundation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. To donate, please call us again at Ms. Lontock's number, 510-464-3219, or you can email her as well. But you know what? Often when you're thinking about a gift to a college or any type of charitable donation, you may want to know more about where your money's going. And for that, I encourage you to reach out directly to me. You can email me, Rudy Besikoff, at rbesikof@peralta.edu. But you know what? More than that, I would encourage a phone call or a conversation, and you can certainly reach out at 510-464-3236. Grace Kwan in my office will take the call and set up a time for us to talk, and hopefully it'll be a great conversation that ends up benefiting the lives of students. Also, to our employees, I'll just remind you, it is possible to donate via monthly payroll deduction. And if you're interested in doing that, my office can also provide answers to any questions. All right, so now, Felicia, we're hitting the high ratings part of the show, because joining us virtually, but always close by, for our Partners of Laney feature is one Raya Zion, who will acquaint our listeners with opportunities on campus, as well as information about industry partners offering employment and other great career-related opportunities for students. Raya Zion, how are you?
Yes, I am doing great.
All right.
Always excited to be on the President's Desk podcast.
Hi, Raya.
And we're always
And
happy.
Felicia.
And we're always happy to see you. My when it comes to you, my second happiest moment, the first, of course, being this segment in the show, is when you text me back saying, "Yes, Rudy, I'm available this week." That always brings a smile, because I know great information is coming. So,
Yes.
With all that said, Raya, what have you got for us this week?
Let it rip. So I want everyone to know I know that we've interviewed Kathy Rothberg from Lau Family, but what I really like about Lau Family is that they have internship money for people up to 30. So they have 3 different categories, like, 16 to 22, 22 to 26, and then up to 30. So if anyone wants to work on campus or at an off-site location, I would refer them to Lau Families, and they would sign them up. They will go through career readiness, resume writing, interviewing skills, and they would place them in an internship for at least 100 hours. So I think that's something really exciting. And we do have positions here on campus for people that may not be eligible for federal work study. They could go through Lao Family and get funded for their on-campus work. So I think that's really exciting for me. Well, I know.
One question's kind of been building up for me, Raya, and, so many of our students already work, and then others might be getting in for the first time. What's the difference often between the work experience in an internship versus one at a job in the professional world? Internship versus a quote unquote real job. What are some of the differences?
Well, I think something to bear in mind is some of the students may not have the work experience yet to get a full-time regular job in what they like. So if they start out as an intern, they would accrue these skills and also be able to put it on their resume. So that's something very, very important. And in an internship, they're exposed to different aspects of the company. It's not just like, okay, you're going to do accounting. They may do some accounting, but they'll get to shadow people. They'll learn about the company. They'll learn about how to get a job with the company. So the company kind of polishes them up and guides them into positions later on with them. But the big thing is you have to have some experience, whether it's volunteer or internship.
And that's the place.
If you don't have any in your field, and that's the internship is the way to do it.
Yeah, and it's great information as we're chatting with Raya Zion and welcoming Randi Cross to the President's Desk right here at 96.9 FM, KGPC, and heard as always at kgpc969.org.
Yes.
So let's get back to you, Randi.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? Let me just do one last check-in with Raya. Raya, October.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
October 11th, anything interesting happening at Laney?
So yes. My child will be born.
The tiny house.
And that is the evening manufacturing event. As you know, on October 8th is Manufacturing Day, but we're extending it to Manufacturing Month. And on October 11th, we are going to have our tiny home ribbon cutting because the carpentry department did build a tiny home that they will be donating at the end of October. So we're having a special ribbon cutting. And then we're going to have a panel discussion on advanced manufacturing, trends, careers, and the need for certificates. And then we will take people on tours of the different shops that aren't usually open during the daytime. So they could come in and go to electrical, they could go to HVAC, while usually those departments are closed during the day. So yes, it is the big tiny home ribbon cutting and advanced manufacturing showcase that's happening
Raya.
on October 11th from 5 p.m. till about 8:30 by the time we finish the tours.
Raya, I understand that the tiny house is being donated. Where is it going?
I don't know the nonprofit's name, but I will gladly.
Oh, it seems our student journalist is on top of this. So to our Tiny Homes donation breaking news hotline, I turn to Randi Cross.
No, I actually had a question about once the tiny home is gone, what's going to go there?
Right. Are you building another one?
Yes,
or
that's
what's
They'll
happening?
build another
what
one next
happens.
year.
Essentially,
okay.
it's a culmination of a semester project, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will find out exactly where it's going. And
I do
and-
want to know where it's going to.
I will tell you.
Excellent. All right. Raya, great information as always. Where can our viewers and our listeners reach out to you if they want information about employment?
Yes, if they want employment or need help writing a resume or job searching or interviewing, coaching, please email me at rzion@peralta.edu.
Excellent. You're a staple of the show. Great information as always, Raya, and
Thank you.
just appreciate you and look forward to chatting next week.
Yes. Take
All
care,
right,
guys.
take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Raya.
Okay.
Bye.
So, Felicia, you had a back to Randi question, and I know it was burning. I could see it. So go ahead.
I was just curious, are there any announcements that we need to be aware of as an audience, students, teachers, employees of Peralta that's happening?
I know the things that actually I have on my agenda coming up are things I believe we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Well, there's the tiny house, and then I know we have a transfer event. So
Tell us a little bit about the transfer event.
yeah, so it's going to be October 9th from 10:30 to 1:30. Looks like it is going to be over in the Laney Quad. So it looks like we have quite a few different colleges there. I see University of San Francisco State, Cal.
Okay.
UC
Have you
Riverside.
already been in dialogue with people at SF State?
So I did have some contact with the journalism chair. So I've spoken with her. That's about it. I need to get on it.
From just first impressions, are you sensing anything will be kind of adding on to your tool belt as you go to SF State?
Oh, definitely.
For example?
I believe they kind of have not only just like we do news, but I believe they also have like a magazine. So you'll be able to, tap into
really
like
cool.
some, edits. I don't know what the term for magazine writing is, but some
Right.
editorial stuff.
Excellent.
Okay.
So, yeah, any other updates for us?
That's all I have right now.
Excellent. So I also want to just let our listeners know that by the time this actually airs, the Rising Behind Bars event with the speakers and workshops will have taken place, and this is amazing. It's from different career pathways, and the audience is for justice-involved students that have been in prison, jail, juvenile hall, and essentially this will be relating to the community college and four-year experience. This will have been an amazing event, and certainly one of our big innovators at Laney College is a former guest on the president's desk, Restoring Our Community's colleagues, Roger Chung and Vince Garrett, who joined us, if you remember.
Yes, I remember.
So that's something that's great. So, Randi, back to student life.
Yes.
You've talked about just doing student government, writing for the newspaper. Besides the journalism classes, I want to take that out of this question. How do you feel that extracurricular activities and additional things you do impact the work you're doing in your other classes?
Well, right now I have a late start class coming up. It's data journalism. However, I'm also taking a photography class because I am trying to get better at my photography skills because I know that's a major part of journalism.
Journalism, yeah.
Yeah, I know journalists now, you can't just know how to write. You have to know how to do like audio, video, photography. So I'm trying to bring all that in as far as like extracurricular things.
Does that mean getting a good camera or a good phone?
So actually the class I'm in right now, it's called Looking at Images, but we only use our phones.
Oh.
So it's like the history of journalism. So what we do is we recreate old pictures just using our phones and using filters.
So you recreate old pictures.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds very interesting. I'm curious because I'm learning that you just don't point and click. You kind of turn. You have certain angles, and you look beyond your subject. So how do you recreate old photos? And then
I'm actually going to bring in a specific example. If our listeners Google me, okay, Getty Images, and I'm not making this up, has a picture of me at a Memorial Day street festival in one of those pie throwing booths getting hit with a pie. So it's
is
a black
it
and
right? Is it upon impact?
You know what? I'll invite our listeners. I did get hit. But Randi, let's say you pull up this black and white of a 13-year-old Rudy Besikoff getting hit by a pie. What is the work you would do to that photo?
So if I wanted to age it, we use our professor, he told us to use Snapseed. It's an app. And you can do different things, like you can blur it, change it to black and white or the sepia. There's some aging techniques. There's a brush. You can use the brush to kind of manipulate where the light is. This is all new stuff to me as well. So
you
could
could make me look a little better. Is that what you're saying?
Or if you
worse.
want some like Photoshop done, like.
Oh, that would be a lot of work. That would be what's called an overhaul, I believe. So.
But yeah, so we're right now in like doing I just did we're in the 1800s. So I just did like a still life. So we're basically like, at home, just find some things you want to put, like a bowl of fruit,
Right.
candle, take the photo, edit it.
Felicia, regarding that photo, it's cool, and just like our show, there's kind of a moment of glory followed by a moment of humility. And let me explain what I mean. I know our show got a CC Pro nomination statewide. The President's Desk did. That was the moment of glory. The moment of humility was that we lost to a drone project at Cerritos College. So regarding my photo, that 13-year-old Rudy getting hit by a pie, the moment of glory is that the photo is available for $500 each.
Oh, man.
What?
Does it get bought often?
The moment of humility is that nobody's ever bought one.
Well, maybe I should learn how to run a drone so we can outdo them next time.
There we go. Exactly. The President's Desk flying near a location around you.
The drone.
All right. So, you've talked about that impact of extracurricular activities, and certainly in my case throughout high school and my first 2 years of college, especially, I was active too. There are a lot of student clubs on campus, and at the moment that we're taping this today, October 4th, there is a club rush on our quad. What's going on with that? Can you tell can you report a little bit about that? And I notice now we might even have a social media update from the social media update desk in Randi Cross.
We do. That is me. So I'll just give you a rundown of the clubs that are out there right now. We have Black Student Union, also known as BSU. There's the Engineering Club, Latinx Club, Lounge Strong Campus Fellowship Club, Math Club, Speech and Leadership, United Painters Club, and the Makers Collective.
Wow.
And then Black Student Union and Makers just got rechartered. And then the Painters Club and the Math Club are brand new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Painters. Is that art?
Yeah, it's art.
Okay.
So what they do is they just kind of welcome anyone that's into doing any type of art. They can come hang out, learn some skills.
And what about makers?
Yeah, what is the Makers Club?
Makers is basically, they also do art, but they also do like pottery.
Oh, okay.
They use the Fab Lab. They cover all creative items.
So are you a part of a club, or do you?
I am, outside of ASLC, I am part of Black Student Union.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the other thing, we also have an expert on one of our clubs and one of our organizations. Randi is so busy, but on top of that, she also works hours in our wellness center.
Yes.
Oh, the wellness
and
center.
which is the source of our Evolved Minds Club. So I want to turn to someone who's an expert, Randi Cross. Can you tell us about the wellness center and a little bit about the Evolved Minds Club?
So I don't think Evolved Minds rechartered this semester. They're not on our.
They are tabling. I was
they're
on the
tabling?
quad. They're
Oh,
tabling.
okay.
So yes.
Yeah, I didn't know they were tabling. But anyways, so the Wellness Center is in the tower building on the second floor. So basically, we provide any type of outside. I mean, we work with basic needs. And we also have therapists. So every Laney student gets 8 sessions per semester, no charge. So they can come in and talk to trained therapists, which we have on site, or they can do it via Zoom. And then as far as what I do, I'm also a mental health navigator. I did a 2-week training over the summer. So any students that come in, I can help them navigate to any treatment they may need beyond the 8 visits. I can help them navigate to the Roots Clinic on campus if they are looking to need like a flu shot, COVID vaccine, anything like that. I can help them get to, I don't know, it's countless things.
Wow,
Housing.
So great to be talking about the many capacities of our guest, Randi Cross, right here at the President's Desk on 96.9 FM KGPC, also heard at kgpc969.org.
Absolutely.
By the way, Felicia,
I wanted to
I think
ask
we need to
you-
go back to our other station ID person for the next broadcast,
Right.
because clearly we have downgraded today. We need Randi back doing that.
And I'm sitting here like, that's my job. What's he doing?
Rudy, I'm just curious. Did we interview someone from Roots here at one time?
No, we haven't yet.
we
I think that's a
haven't.
great
I think
future
that would
guest.
be
Although I will tease
absolutely a
that
good guest.
I will tease that we will be inviting Susan Yee and Danielle Burrows, mental health specialist,
Yes.
and with the Welcome Center back
Right.
to get them on the return guest list.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I would be curious to see what kind of changes that have taken place since the pandemic and students are now coming back to campus.
Randi, this additional thing you've taken on with the Wellness Center is so different than all the other things we've talked about. The training and the hours you're putting in, what's that experience been like?
So the Wellness Center, I just kind of last semester, I saw a flyer that they were looking for student workers to help out in the Wellness Center. And so it was something that I personally, I found quite close to me, is like making sure people have good mental health. So I was like, oh, let me check that out. Talked to Danielle about it. And she was like, well, in the summer, we're going to do like a whole week-long training up at Ohlone College. It's going to be a lot of time. Then I was like, well, I think I can manage it. And we did that together. And me and Danielle became really close doing that. And now I'm working in the Wellness Center. I work 3 days a week. I put in 5 hours. I'm there on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And of course, I take Wednesdays off for the pod.
There you go. And Fridays, no ALCC,
no, Fridays,
no
no,
citizen.
nothing.
So often it's somebody you meet, or it's maybe a neat-looking flyer, or just an opportune moment. With all that you do, what got you interested in the Wellness Center?
Yeah, so personally, I have like friends and family members that struggle with issues with mental health. So I wanted to be able to be a person that could assist any students on campus that are also facing those same type of struggles. I know sometimes it's hard to find someone to talk to, or even find the right resources to find someone to talk to. So I wanted to be an advocate for those students and make sure they can get the help they need.
Is there anything that you're taking from that experience of being in the Wellness Center and the accompanying training to what you do in student government or to the newspaper?
Yeah, I think it's actually helped me with both. As far as with the newspaper, I've been more mindful of making sure we get some more stories in there centered around student health. And the same with ASLC, I make sure, everyone's aware of all of the resources the Wellness Center has to offer.
What's a resource that students might be surprised to find out about?
So we actually help out with finding housing, because again, bringing up the housing crisis, we have a ton of resources for, I know a lot of students have children, so we can help with family housing, places we can connect you with in the community that can get you in the right place to where you won't be alone in that.
Wow. Some of the other clubs that were out there, we mentioned the Makers and the Makerspace and what we have with the Fab Lab, and certainly a lot of great applications to disciplines that might even surprise you. We also have a coding club as well as an engineering club. And of course, we had the Be Like Coders event that takes place in the spring. What do you know about that? And from a student perspective, what are some benefits of being involved with those?
Yes, so I know Be Like Coders will be back this semester. I don't think we've set the exact date yet, but we're definitely doing that event again.
Oh, excellent.
What does that event usually entail?
So I am not very tech savvy, but
okay.
Felicia, I can actually take that one.
Right.
Maybe I could be
Rudy, please.
Maybe I'll be the guest the
Enlighten
next week.
me, please.
Randi can drill me with questions
Okay.
next time. But actually, it's an amazing event. This next year will be the third time that it's happened, and it's taken place in great thanks to our previous ASLC presidents, the last two, Bilal and Omalola. Essentially, what they do is they spend an event or the course of a day problem solving and doing things like building an app or doing things, And last year's winner, if memory serves, was an app that was built around accessing healthcare.
Oh, okay.
So it's, I know people, in pre-law, they might do mock trials and, there may be like junior business experiences and things like that. But my understanding is that with the hackathon and the Be Like Coders event, which is the same thing, they're actually building things that come forward as potentially real solutions to things, making them all the more meaningful.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't go last semester, but I heard it's like a 2-day event. They're like it was in the wasn't in the where was it last?
It was down in the bistro.
Yeah.
Oh, in the bistro.
So they just spend the whole day on their computers.
Oh,
Yeah,
computers
and Felicia-
building an app.
yeah.
I mean, that's no
Yes.
small task.
Felicia,
so
that-
that's pretty
yeah.
amazing.
At Laney College, all roads lead to either the quad or the bistro.
Quad
And
or
with me and my love
food
of
or food.
and with me and my love of food, I think you could probably guess which one. So
There's always food in the quad too.
yeah, that's true.
Right.
What about this? There's also a painting club. What are you hearing about that?
Yeah, the painting club. It's a new club.
Because my house could use a couple extra coats. No.
Yeah, a couple of the painters came over when they presented that club, and they were just saying how they just wanted to get, mural painting was a big thing. So they want to get people to do more of that. And they were like, any type of painting you want to do, and we'll try and bring like as many resources as we can so that everybody has tools to paint.
Yeah, with Mary Catherine Bassett, professor of art, joining us, art has taken on so many dimensions at Laney College, including extensions into our Fab Lab and just a lot of applications. And, just hearing about this club, it seems so exciting to see what's happening. Although the club sponsor, from what I understand from World Languages, is Professor Arturo Davila. So that's something that's interesting. So, all right. Well, as you mentioned, late starting classes are October 16th, so they're coming fast and furious. What are you going to be taking the second half of the semester?
I will be taking data journalism.
Oh, data journalism.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I'm not 100% sure what's that's going to be
that's
like yet.
That's
Well,
actually a new and growing field. So.
yeah. And you did touch on community journalism before. What do you know about data journalism so far?
Nothing.
All right.
So I'm going to be going
Brand
in
new.
this fresh.
I think it probably has something to do with looking at numbers.
Yeah, I
And
know
So
then-
it's probably.
quantitative analysis, analytics,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
type
and
of
also
thing.
creating a story out of those numbers
Yeah.
as well.
So, excellent. All right. Well, anyway, just as we close the show today and transition, I absolutely want to thank you, Randi, for joining us. Each time we welcome in a new guest, you ask a question, and so much I've wanted to ask you the same question, and we had an opportunity during this hour today to do that. Just as you kind of go into this this year of now knowing the campus. Into this year of 23-24, what are your hopes and aspirations during this time at Laney?
I mean, as much as I love Laney, hopefully around this time next year, I'll be at San Francisco State.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And between now and then, hopefully we'll be shaking your hand at graduation.
Yes, I
There
hope
we
so.
All right. Thank you, Randi, and certainly look forward to having you back as a co-host next week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
it
be
was
back.
fun. It was fun putting you on the hot seat.
Oh, I was like, oh my goodness. I like asking the questions.
Yeah, I noticed you kept looking
Enjoy.
at
I'm looking over there
at the
like
co-host
nobody's
chair
here.
over there, so, yeah, but anyway. Yeah, well, Felicia, we certainly heard a lot today just about
Did.
student life,
We
clubs,
did.
activities, journalism, student government. What are your takeaways? What are your thoughts from today?
I think it's fantastic that there's a lot of clubs that students can take advantage of. I think it's fantastic that there is a focus on mental health support, considering that the world is just changing so quickly, and that could be a challenge mentally for a lot of folks. So I'm glad that Laney is stepping up in that regard. And I'm just amazed at how much Randi Cross is doing on the campus of Laney, and just
Yeah,
excited that you're my co-host, and to keep up the good work. I'm gonna keep following you
there we
because
go.
you're on a fantastic trajectory.
Absolutely.
It's a running joke in the Wellness Center that I'm now the mayor of the campus.
Okay.
Believe it.
And definitely mayors have more pull than presidents the last time.
What about you, Randi? What about you, Rudy? Do you have some thoughts?
No, just amazing conversation. I know a lot of the time when people talk about a school and extracurricular activities, they might think of sports and stop there. But I think this hour, if nothing else, has shown that there are so many avenues available to students, and Randi has certainly spoken to the benefits. And speaking of benefiting by things, certainly want to thank Whitney and also you, Felicia, today as the co-host. And as we wrap up another edition of the President's Desk, we want to thank our Peralta TV audience, as well as listeners up and down the great state of California, from the far north in the 717 and the 530, all the way down to SoCal in the 619. Big shout out there. As well as our listeners right here in the 510 who tune in from Lake Merritt, Oakland, Chinatown, downtown Oakland, West Oakland, Eastlake, Fruitvale, Diamond, North Oakland, Adams Point, Central Oakland, East Oakland, the Oakland Hills, Montclair, Piedmont, and of course, those right here on the Laney campus listening to us today, whether it's from the Quad or elsewhere right here in Oakland. As we close up shop at the President's Desk today, straighten out the chairs and turn the desk light off on today's program, Felicia, take us home.
Yes. Thank you for tuning in to the President's Desk, a program available on radio, television, and podcast, hosted by Laney College President Dr. Rudy Besakoff. It airs each Wednesday at 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. on 96.9 KGPC, and viewers can watch the show in its entirety on Peralta TV Sundays from 1 to 2 p.m. To listen anytime, find us on kgpc969.org/programming/current shows and click on the President's Desk, or find the show directly at www.kgpc969.org/the President's Desk. Also, to stream video of the show, go to youtube.com and subscribe to Laney College President's Desk. Also, on the KGPC YouTube channel, you can click on the President's Desk and watch it there as well. If you have a suggestion for a future show, please email us at laneypio@peralta.edu.